Hey guys, this is Hannah and welcome back to my channel for this week's video. This week I am very excited because we are talking about something that is very near and dear to my heart, and that is piccolos. Woo! So, yeah, this video will be all about starting to learn piccolos, when you should do it, should you do it. Again, I personally love this little guy. I find it very fun, and it's a great way to explore the flute a little bit. So, first thing you should consider is, do you want to learn piccolo? Because not all flute players want to, and that is perfectly okay. If you can learn just the flute. You can also go into low flutes like alto and bass flute. You go into Baroque flute if you're going into a career in flute. And obviously, if you're not going into a career in music, then you don't have to worry about it. You can do whatever you want. But a few good reasons to learn piccolo is that you can play fun parts. I've had a lot of cool piccolo parts, especially in pieces where maybe the flute part isn't as soloistic or noticeable. But the piccolo is always there because it is so high-pitched. You can learn a new instrument, so that's another fun reason, especially with us being all home right now, if you are bored and have extra time, and especially with it being summer as well. A lot of us usually have more time in the summer to focus on things, so you can learn piccolo as a new instrument. And if you want lessons or guidance, I do offer lessons on flute and piccolo, and I will have that information linked below for you to check out and learn more. And then another good reason is that, at least for those of you who are pursuing flute and music professionally, playing piccolo can help your career, because a lot of, if you say you're going to go into an orchestra or you want to go into an orchestra, there's really only three flute parts, and one of them is a flute/piccolo. So if you don't play piccolo, you're only opening yourself up to two potential parts, whether that's in school or professionally. Then when it comes to teaching, again, you can access more students if you teach piccolo as well. And you can just access more performance gigs like pit stuff if you also play clarinet and sax. So playing piccolo is a great way to diversify your skills as a musician. So when should you start? When should you learn piccolo? This is a good question, and it's up for debate. I know people who learn piccolo shortly after they started flute. I've known people who waited years after learning flute to learn piccolo. So I think bare minimum, you should have the foundations of the flute under your fingers, under your embouchure, getting a good consistent sound, knowing a couple octaves worth of fingerings at least is what I would say. Because the flute is the main instrument of the flute family. If you can't play it well, you're going to have a hard time learning piccolo, alto flute, bass flute, anything. So you really need those basics first. Then when you want to, once you have those foundations, if you want to learn earlier, great. If you want to continue to focus on flute for a while and then learn piccolo later, also great. Whenever you have the motivation or the time. Again, a lot of musicians are very busy, and so you may not have the time. You may not have access to a piccolo to learn on, and piccolos can be expensive. Luckily, you can get used ones for under $1,000. But that's still a pretty hefty investment, especially if you're not sure if you're going to like it or continue to play it. And when it comes to cheap piccolos, because you can go on Amazon and find piccolos for like $100, be very careful, because a lot of repair techs will not touch those instruments, whether it's piccolo, flute, saxophone, whatever. Spending that little it's just like you're not going to get the quality that you need in an instrument. Anyway, another good time is in college. So especially if you're a music major, you can learn piccolo in your lessons with your teacher. You can play it in ensembles like marching band or pep band or even concert band or orchestra. And typically as a student, you will have access to at least maybe one or two school-owned piccolos. You may have to share, again, depending on what's in stock, depending on, your school, but that is a good time. You can also, if you have someone in your studio who owns a piccolo, you might be able to convince them to let you borrow it occasionally. I wouldn't count on that, but it is an option. So after you develop your foundations on flute, pretty much whenever you want, whether that's in college or not, you have a good time to learn. So then starting to learn piccolo, so you need to choose an instrument. So I have, again, mine here. This is a pearl piccolo, so it is a composite wood and plastic, but it looks like wood, sounds like wood. I also do own an all metal piccolo, which I do not I have with me. I forgot to set it up, I'll be honest. But it's, it looks like a small flute because it's all silver. And they're both decent instruments. This one, again, because it has the wood, is going to sound better for indoor performances, whereas an all metal or a metal head joint and plastic body, that's another common combination. I do not own one of those. Those with the metal head joints and or bodies are better typically for marching band and outdoor performances. All right, so a quick note that I'm going to enter here at the end. Since I didn't have my metal piccolo ready to show you in the middle of the video, thought I would bring it out right now. Here it is. It is an Armstrong. So it does have the lip plate like a traditional flute, and it has this little rest because the bore is so small. If you compare it to the pearl, this is much thicker than this one. Both are good instruments though, so I think both of them new cost around $1,000. You might be able to get them used for a little less. But yeah, so this is a great option for marching band, outdoor performances, and stuff like that. All right, so thank you guys again for watching. Again, as I mentioned, please try to avoid the cheap $100 piccolos on Amazon and eBay, because you can't trust the quality. They might, die within a few weeks or even a few days, and you won't be able to get them repaired. You can do a used instrument, and I believe some music stores even offer rentals on piccolos. You may not have much of a selection there, but it is an option if you're tight on cash, which I know a lot of us are right now. Then get lessons. If you're in school, contact your flute professor. And if not, if you're willing to do online lessons, I offer them on Piccolo. So again, information linked down below. That way you can make sure you get the embouchure placement and everything. And that way, again, you can learn the basics and make sure you're not forming bad habits. And of course, be sure to keep up with your flute playing, because again, that is the foundational instrument of the flute family. You don't want to lose that. Even if you do decide to specialize in piccolo, it's still important to keep up with your flute playing. So yeah, and of course keep up with piccolo, and switching between the two instruments is hard at first, but the more you practice, the easier it will get. So yeah, that is pretty much when should you start to learn piccolo. It really depends basically when you want to, and make sure that you find a teacher or find something to help you I will also link some of my favorite Piccolo books and resources down below, as well as the link to my own Piccolo. When it comes to Amazon, Pearl is, at least when I last checked, Amazon is an authorized dealer of Pearl. However, I know Gemeinhart specifically states on their website that Amazon is not an authorized dealer. And I believe you will find Jupiter and Yamaha Piccolos on Amazon. However, neither of those companies make announcements either way as to yes, it's okay, no, it is not. So be careful with those. Pearl is probably your safest bet if you need to order on Amazon. But if you need to order online, other websites like Flute World, Flute Center of New York, Carolyn Nussbaum, or Flute Specialists are all good places where you can find a decent selection of reputable piccolos. So I think that is it for this video. I hope you guys liked it. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, leave a comment with any questions that you guys have, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.